Game 1 of your Week 15 Super Saturday block, live here on the Virtual Football Network. Two teams with a significant amount of ways that they can potentially get back into the playoff picture. It's both incredibly difficult for both, but the script tonight is very simple. You must win here at the Red River Stadium. The Bossier City Steamers will play host to the Albuquerque Adams here, who sit on the fringe of a 6-win record. Bossier City trying to get to 5-7. Plenty and everything to play for here this evening. And alongside me to unpack what should be an entertaining contest here is none other than Brandon Walters. Brandon, what's going on and what are your keys to the matchup tonight?
Oh, it's the best part of the season, Jacob. It's do or die football here in Bossier City. You know, both these teams, as you mentioned, you know, on the outside looking in right now and kind of on the lower end of the outside. But they both come at it in different ways. You know, Albuquerque's on a 3-game losing skid right now, whereas Bossier City's won their 2 last games in a row, including a huge shock upset over the DC Dragons, you know, one of the best teams in the league. So both these teams are coming at this from different angles, but they both need the win tonight. I think the key here is going to be turnovers. You know, Cyrus Jive has only thrown 6 interceptions this season. It's the lowest mark in the league. If he can keep his nose clean tonight, it would be huge for the Adams.
Jeremy Hartshorn and Ellie Diomez on stats with us this evening. Bossier City is going to get opening honours here with the kickoff not returned. Albuquerque have lost 3 games in a row. On the inverse, Bossier City have won their last 2. Again, the Adams are trying to get back to 500. It would be the first time ever if they were to lose tonight in their 3 seasons in the top flight that they were not able to get to a winning record. They've been unbelievable since entering the SFL, but they are on the slide at the moment and need to cancel that out. Opening carry up the middle, that will net a yard for Rob Noel. We'll introduce the rest of the Bossier City defense for quarterback Johnny Pickler, Rob Noel and Rob Nebchek, the 2 backs, Speedy Gonzalez, the fullback, Dave Axis, Vin Callier, Jeff Banfield, the receivers, Adam Williams, Garrison Blue, your tight ends, Yogi and Hokey Bar, along with Anthony Anderson and Duke and Rukin on the offensive line. Toss play to the outside, that's going to be a run for Noel, and he will pick up 3. Early run defense is stout from Albuquerque. They'll have a 3rd and long.
Yeah, Bossier City's middle of the pack in terms of rushing yards this season. They're 14th at 102 a game, but they get 3.8 a carry, which ranks them 7th in the league. You know, and that backfield, you know, Noel and Nemchek is an underrated combo.
Bossier City going to make this a quads look here with Callier moving down into a slot. Drop back by Pickler. He has time to throw. Short route is caught, and it will be short of the line to gain by a yard as Jeff Banfield gets that reception. Pickler, good call, but just unable to execute.
Yeah, I think the concept was good there. You get Banfield on the little in there to cut in and kind of get open quick there, and you hope that he can kind of turn it upfield and get that 1st down, but I think the pass was just a little bit off target there.
Early punt for Danny Dimes will be returned for minimal yardage. Up the middle, we'll introduce the Albuquerque Adams offense for head coach Joshua Williams and Chris Porter. Cyrus Jive at quarterback, Josh Slapp, and Jason Williams, the electric backfield. Justin Williams, the fullback, Kyle Finnemore, Clarence Lee, and Kane Marion, the receivers, Jack Wall, at the tight end spot, Queen Porter, Jerryon Jones, and Leah Williams, the offensive lineman. Into an ace twins formation. Bossier City showing blitz on the left-hand side of the line. In motion, Marion to the other side of the line, so it'll be a more conventional ace look here. Jive was pressured through it, and Bossier City got enough bodies in the way there to force that one away from Marion.
Yeah, I think there was a miscommunication on the route there because you saw Clarence Lee was cutting across in that kind of opposite concept there, and I think it might have hit him in the side of the helmet there. I think Marion, you know, had her hands up and was kind of intending on being the one catching that pass, and instead of doinks Lee in the side of the helmet there.
Maintain the ace look here. Again, Marion will be the motion outside. Drop back again, John for the short one. It's caught by Wall. First down, and first down of the game goes to Jack Wall. 12-yard reception.
Yeah, we were talking about this passing offense before the game here, Jacob, you know, but Cyrus Jive, one of the better quarterbacks in the league this season in terms of how he, you know, manages to actually get his team into the end zone. He's got 15 touchdowns this season, which puts him 3rd in the league, and that 6 interception mark is the best in the league. So, you know, very good at taking care of the ball and making sure that his offense can keep possession and move down the field.
Still keeping the assets on the two receivers. The tight end was stacked to the bottom. It's caught by Wall again. Outside for a first down. That puts Cyrus Jive up over 2,000 yards on the season. We mentioned how good he's been. Continues to push the stats in an upward trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Wall, man, such a fun player to watch. 6'7", 255-pound tight end. You know, he's got a big frame there, and when you got a corner, you know, trying to cover him there, like I think, I'm not sure exactly who that was, but I think it was Pink Lisa there, the corner, you know, trying to cover a guy who's that big. It's going to be tough for you because they can kind of just box you out of the ball entirely.
It's his 40th reception of the season, clearly the second target for Jive. First run of the game, he's going to net minimal yardage there up the middle. It's a gain of 1. We'll introduce the Bossier City defense. Stephen Fellows, Rob Foraker, Biff Markham, and Jabuz McSlim, the defensive lineman, Bogey Barr, and Freddie Trammell, your linebackers. Pink Lisa, Michaela Foraker, Stuart Zomelia, Gunny Maguire, and Zach Holdoff, the secondary. Another throw from Jive equals another first down. This time it's a new target in Kyle Finnemore.
Yeah, it's a good catch from Finnemore with the one-hander there over the field. And, you know, I think he's probably someone who was expecting to get a little bit more action in the offense this season. You know, that's his 24th catch of the season. He's just over 300 yards in the season. You know, tons of touchdowns. He actually leads the team with 6 receiving touchdowns. But I think, you know, he would have liked to be a little bit stronger of the number 2 in response to Kay Marion, you know, who's the clear number 1.
Back into the ASOP. This has been successful for them so far. This time it's Finnemore that's motion. Marion will stay up the top. Jive was pressured, got it to Finnemore. How he wasn't sacked there, I've got no idea. But he somehow managed to pull off the play. Finnemore with back-to-back catches.
Well, he's got that arm strength, Jacob. You know, even though he's going down, he's able to get it out of the pocket so quick that it really doesn't matter because by the time the rush actually gets home, you know, it's already out and on the way to Finnemore there. And I like what, you know, Albuquerque's doing so far tonight. You know, you see him in the ace a lot here, and it looks like Bossier City really wants to bring that kind of bear defense, you know, bring those 2 outsides on down towards the line there. And they're just hitting them with the quick passes underneath.
Into a running set, they're going to give it to Slap. Slap's got a lead block, but a good shutdown play there. It was only a gain of 3 rather than a 6-pointer. There it was hit by Freddie Trammell.
Talking about a rushing combo, though, you know, Slap and Jason Williams, man, that's a heck of a 1-2 punch there, and it looks like they're going to go for it again on the second down.
It's the latter that will jump in here. Justin Williams is out of this play for the moment. It'll be handoff to Jason up the middle, and he is shut down again. Bossier City's run defense starting strong early here. Stephen Fellows with that tackle off the edge.
Yeah, but I mean, you had Stephen Fellows there, and then on top of that, you still need to get Michaela Foraker involved there to actually push Williams back a little bit. You know, he could have potentially rolled over Fellows towards the end zone there.
Drive will roll out. He's going to throw it. It's incomplete. They got that one wrong. You can see what they were trying to do there. It was intended for Justin Williams there, the fullback, but Jive had to throw it earlier than he perhaps wanted to. And a really good stop backed up on their own goal line by Bossier City.
It's a great play by the Steamers, though. I think they were expecting that rollout there, and they had Michaela Foraker come out on that little outside blitz there, right into Jive's face immediately. And he knew he wasn't going to get a block from Williams because he was going out on that fullback route there. So just tried to dump it off quickly there and shut that down.
Sammy Steele's 16th field goal of the season is successful. And Albuquerque take a 3-0 lead.
It's a good first drive for the Adams, though, Jacob. I mean, you move the ball down the field pretty easily, all things considered. You know, Jive is 4-6 for 52 yards passing. I think you'd like to see the run game get a bit more efficient because Slap had the 2 carries for only 4 yards combined. But I think, you know, for a first drive away from home, I think the Adams have got to feel pretty good.
No return by Bossier City. It's trying to check who is on return duties for BCS. Irrespective, it will be Johnny Pickler's football 20 yards away from his own goal line. Handoff to the right-hand side. It's a gain of 2. Rob Noel again with the opening rush. Introduce the Albuquerque Adams defense. Chris Porter, Leo Jefferson, Neil Rivers, and Joshua Williams, the defensive lineman. Seth Berlin and Saeed Gore on the inside. Keenan Samuels and William Patterson on the outside linebacking core. Secondary, Amar Bright Jr., Daniel Valentine, TJ Frosty, Jack Napier, and Bryant James. Another run up the middle from Bossier City is slammed. No gain. William Patterson's had a stellar start to this game, and it's another 3rd down and long.
Yeah, they've got 3 good linebackers here, Goer, Samuels, and Patterson. It's a really good combo, especially when it comes to shutting down these inside runs here, which is something that Bossier City really relies on.
Another drop back by Pickler. He's gone. Bossier City with only 1 yard of offense on that drive, shut down straight away. There is Chris Porter gets into the backfield, and they'll be forced to punt this one away again.
Man, that's a great play by Chris Porter. And this is something that Albuquerque struggled with all season, getting sacks. Their leading sack getter right now this season is Joshua Williams. He's only got 2.5 sacks on the season. So Chris Porter, actually, that's his 3rd sack of the season, which means he's now the leading sacker on this defense. And if they can get pressure on Pickler, that would be huge for this defense.
Second punt for Danny Dimes. And he will be returned inside Bossier City territory, so even better starting field position than what they had last time. Fenimore gets it into Bossier City territory. Again, the first drive ended in a field goal attempt from about 4 yards away from their goal line. See if they can improve on that here with this possession. Twins to the bottom, slap in the backfield. And 3 rushing attempts on that opening drive, but Jive's going to keep it in the air. He's got time to throw downfield. Fenimore, 1st down.
Yeah, man, they're absolutely looking to exploit that outside corner look. Again, it's that bear formation. They bring the corners down towards the outside, close on the line there, but they're not actually bringing that much pressure. There's only 4 Steamers defenders actually going for Jive there, which means he's got all the time in the pocket to wait for Fenimore and Marion to get to that second level and find the hole in the zone defense.
And keep this ace look again. We're going to motion Clarence Lee to the outside. Drop back caught in the open field by Fenimore. Keep the foot in. And he'll be tackled after a decent game once more. He's starting to heat up.
It's such a beautiful play call, though, Jacob. They bring some pressure that time. There's a 5th rusher added in, and Fenimore goes on that quick out route there. There's really no one there. Michaela Foraker's the closest, but even she's about 6 steps away from Fenimore when he makes that cut, and it's easy for him to catch it, do a little bit of tightrope walking on the sideline there. They'll challenge it, but it's still a great play regardless.
He definitely got the 1st down. It's just a case of that foot nearly went out of bounds as he turned the corner.
And even if they win the challenge, even if they do win the challenge here, Jacob, it was a 1st down play, so it's not like you're going to lose much out here if you do win the challenge. So
was it? No, he didn't. So if it is successful, they're probably going to be 2 yards shy of the 1st down. So our perception of that was wrong. And he did, of course, step out of bounds, as you would have likely seen there. So I believe this will negate the 1st down. It'll still be a 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2 at worst.
Maybe that's something, with the mentality, you're coming in here fighting for a playoff spot. You got to win or go home, essentially. So, if your coach can give you any kind of advantage with those challenge flags, I'd say it's probably a good thing, at least morale-wise for the team.
Makes it a 9-yard reception for Fenimore on that last play. Deep throw down for Jack Wall. Touchdown. What a throw by Jive.
Oh, man. Cyrus Jive is absolutely showing off here tonight, Jacob. That's a great throw there. Again, the pressure coming on the outside there from that bear look. And he knows that it means that the linebackers are going to take their time getting back there. And Jack Wall on the little seam route is just wide open. I think one of the safeties, it looked like, I think that might have been Holdorf, was trying to go for the interception there and just completely mistimed it, and Jack Wall just gets to waltz into the end zone for a touchdown. It's a beautiful, beautiful throw by Jive for sure.
It's Jack Wall at 5 touchdowns for the season. That's equal to Cam Marion's number. So fairly even distribution across this offense with the receiving touchdowns from Cyrus Jive. And again, he continues to build on an impressive campaign. He's top 3 in that attribute, making his 16th through the air on the campaign. Steele will kick it back to Robert Nemchek again. And still no return. So it must be a significant breeze in Bossier City's against Bossier City, should say, it would be in Albuquerque's favour, the way that the teams are playing for the opening quarter. But 2 early 3-and-outs for this Bossier City offense, and they've now gone down 2 scores.
They're going to have to try and figure something out here. I mean, the running game has not been very effective. They've been getting absolutely stuffed by those linebackers going up the middle of the field.
And off straight up the middle. This time there's a little more room, but again, the pushback is there. It's only a 3-yard gain for Rob Noel.
And I mean, that's what you need your defense to do, is be able to rally to the ball quickly there. You know, you had a linebacker in position to get early contact, and then you have the free safety, TJ Frosty, get up to the line as fast as possible and, you know, bring Noel down before he can kind of roll forward.
And this on the outside on Nemchek. The block killed him there.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Anderson, the guard there, just kind of got in the way of Nemchek there a little bit. He's on the guard pull there, you know, so he's kind of in open space, and he has to be able to choose who he's going to be able to block there, and instead he cuts back in front of Nemchek.
Blocked his own player. Pickler is in trouble. He will roll out, and he's slow. Oh, man. Johnny Pickler, he could have gotten that first down. Ends up taking the conservative route, and they're short, and will likely punt it away again.
I mean, he could have probably gone for it. You know, you stretch the arm out and you try and get it there. But, I mean, Daniel Valentine has already forced a fumble this season, so I don't necessarily really blame him because, you know, you have to think about the long game here, Jacob. If you get whacked early on in this one, you know, potentially get injured when your team's already in a hole.
Finnemore on the return. He's up past halfway. Cole Finnemore turns the corner. Still on his feet and inside the 35.
I think he might come back a little bit here. We might see a clipping call, but I mean, it's a good return by Finnemore for sure. This Albuquerque team looks absolutely jazzed up for this one, Jacob.
It just seems like they want it more at the moment. So indeed, it will be accepted that I'll knock him back 15 yards, back to halfway. Still, he is electric when he gets going.
I mean, look at how many tackles he broke there. I think there was at least 2 or 3 that he kind of shook out of, and then he's on the sideline there still trying to break the tackles. So, I mean, yeah, Kyle Finnemore, I think he's really juiced up for this game because he's absolutely been killing it so far today.
And again, the Adams have half the field to work with, so the Bossier City defense has been done no favours so far in this game. We hand off to the outside. Josh Schlapp had a little bit of room, but it was well shut down. It's a gain of 4 on that carry. Again, they've been showing away a little bit from the ground game on the road, interestingly enough. But it's been successful thus far as they lead this one by 2 scores, and Jive looks electric again. Into a Joker's look, he will throw. Looks downfield, has caught Marion, had to turn, but got the mitts around the football. First down, Albuquerque.
It's her first catch of the game, too, so now you're going to look to see her probably get more involved in this offense because really so far it's all been running through Finnemore and Wall in the air game. And if you can get Kay Marion involved, too, I mean, she's one of the best receivers in the league this season, you know, 6th in receptions, 5th in yards. She's over 1,000 already. You know, I mean, if you can get her into the game, too, I mean, Bossier City's going to be in trouble.
Back into East look to Bossier City. They haven't sent much pressure out of this bear formation, but they'll throw it again. Jack Wall managed to turn his shoulder, did well there. Gets about 8 on that reception. You mentioned Marion's been excellent this season. She's been one of the best receivers in the SFL for 10 seasons, really, even dating back to when she played for the Sioux Falls Sparrows. She was one of the top-end wide receiver talents and has been huge for this unit in their 3 seasons in the top flight as well. Handoff up the middle. That's Josh Schlapp. Bounced there out of a few tackles, and they're actually going to mark him short of the first down. I thought he had that for sure.
Yeah, I thought he got across. You know, forward progress might have given it to him, but I guess the refs didn't think so either. But I mean, again, you know, you see Bossier City's really stacking the line here, and they are bringing more pressure now, I feel like, but it's more on the outside here. And if Albuquerque's going to run it up the middle, it could be a big problem for them defensively.
They're 4-3 now. A hand off to the outside. That was a good blocking scheme up front there because, again, they had the pressure on the outside and positioned well, Bossier City. Albuquerque gets the job done. That'll end it. Opening quarter here. Adams football. And they lead by 2 scores. Back here at Red River Stadium, Bossier City under a ton of pressure here. I'm Jacob Clear, that's Brandon Walters, Ellie Diomez, and Janabi Hartshorn running the numbers for us. Commissioner Cameron Ovine producing, as always, for the Virtual Football Network. You're watching the Simulation Football League. First down, run up the middle, and Bossier City's run defense is back. And one of their defenders has gone down. It was Barr. Yeah, you're right. Dear, oh dear.
That's a huge blow to this defense. Bogey Barr, I mean, is probably, you got to say, the best linebacker on this defense in terms of the tackles. He's put in, he's the second top tackler on this team. So if you lose him, it's such a big blow to your running game, especially right as Albuquerque's kind of getting into a running groove here. That could be a key loss for this defense.
Only got 2 of them, so that leaves Freddie Trammell as the only linebacker left on this defense. Throw is caught. Clarence Lee's first reception, so Jive's found every single receiver on the depth chart in this opening 2 quarters.
Man, I'll tell you what, Jacob. Cyrus Jive has ice in the veins right now. Again, he faces that pressure coming off of the edge there. I think it's Rob Foraker, coming off the edge straight into his face, unblocked by the right tackle. And he's just delivering these throws every time with the perfect precision.
Another short drop back. He overthrew that one. Bossier City had an opportunity, as it was not quite the best service Jack Walls had today.
I don't know if it's overthrown as much as it is, Bossier City just kind of got hands on Jack Wall. I think someone was absolutely bumping him off the line there. Not sure who it was, but, if they're going to get physical here on the line, I think that's what you're going to have to do, because right now, Jive has just enough time to make these throws every time. You got to disrupt the timing.
13 yards away from a second major score of the game here in Albuquerque. 2nd down and 10. They're going to make this a makeshift pro set. Drop back by Jive, throws end zone. It is incomplete. Was looking for Marion, but it's well broken up by Pink Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa and I think Foraker both had a chance at an interception there, but I mean, you're throwing into some tight coverage there for sure. Lisa's just hovering there, waiting as those routes are kind of coming right towards her there, and Jive's going to have to be careful, because if he makes throws with that kind of decision making, you could really give a couple of these turnovers over to Bossier City here.
Drive into a bunch. Bossier City would do very well to get a stop here in this situation. Has no pressure. A throw well tipped. Got a man up there. Huge play. Backing downfield. One of the backup linebackers who's subbed in for Bogey Barr has produced a huge moment there, because it'll keep it within 2 scores.
Frank Chamberlain gets the hand up in the air there. And I mean, hey, that's what they say, next man up. If you come off the bench and you come into a situation like this, you're trying to stop Albuquerque from getting another touchdown in the red zone here. You've got to step up and, make the plays. And credit to Chamberlain there for doing it. And again, credit to Bossier City. I feel like they've gotten a lot of pressure in on Jive. They haven't necessarily been rewarded yet, but I do think that it's throwing off his timing a little bit.
The second field goal attempt for Sammy Steele is successful, and Albuquerque, despite all their pressure, it's a 2-score lead. Bossier City are still very much in this game, despite the fact that they've been totally run over in the opening 12 minutes of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, they've forced them to kick 2 short field goals. If Albuquerque had turned even one of those into touchdowns, we'd be looking at a 17-0 game right now. And I think things would feel a little bit different with a 3-possession lead as opposed to a 2-possession lead. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter unless your offense gets moving here. So Bossier City's got to try and get something moving down the field.
The return is a good one. Gets it out to the outside, up to the 40, to find some momentum pushing back into Bossier City direction as Dave Axis, in his penultimate game in his career, it's back on the return duties and has got this offense in decent field position.
Yeah, the Diva just announced his retirement last night. I think it's been met with a big groundswell of support from the longtime SFL faithful. So it's great to see him, kind of showing out here, or trying to show out here towards the end of his final season in the league here. If he can get his team sparked up here and get them moving down the field, could be really big for their chances.
Did check the box for making the All-Star game last season, 11 season. Veteran spent 3 of those with this unit. Handoff up the middle. That will be a 5-yard game. Best run of the day so far for Rob Noel.
It's the only time that interior offensive line has really gotten the push they've needed there. I think Albuquerque committed a lot on that strong side there. And finally, the center and the guard can kind of push forward and give Noel that interior lane. But it really hasn't been there that often tonight.
Nemchuk in the backfield. He will get the reception here on the screen pass. Spun and gets out of bounds after a gain of 6.
I I love that. It's such a creative play call, Jacob. You put Kalia in the backfield in that halfback spot there and have him run that little swing route out of the backfield. I love these teams now are getting so creative with putting players in different positions to be able to try and utilize them in a way that the defense doesn't expect there. It's a perfect example because, you know, you've got Vin Kalia up against a linebacker. He's always going to be faster than him. You know, it's always a mismatch.
First reception of the game for Kalia, and it may even be the first pass completion of the game for Johnny Pickler. It's a second, in fact, of the afternoon so far. And up straight at the middle to Rob Noel. Again, he's got decent room. Picks up 5.
Yeah, that's how this Bossier City offense likes to operate. You know, they're 11th in total yards per game, passing yards per game, and rushing yards per game. So they're nothing if not consistent, and this is how they like to play. You know, they grind up the middle with the run game, and then they try and hit that second level with Pickler.
Some heavy jacks formation. First carry of the game for Robert Nemchek. That will be a first down.
It's a great carry by Nemchek, too. You know, he's kind of a slight guy, you know, not exactly a very physically imposing presence from running back. 6 foot, 190 pounds, but he shook off one of the linebackers there like it was nothing.
Into a triple formation here. Drop back by Pickler. Throws across. That's caught. Kalia somehow got his mitts on it. And it'll be another first down. Bossier City making their way downfield. That was a huge play.
Yeah, that heart rate may be rising for some of the Bossier City staff, though, because, I mean, that's a tight window throw right there. I mean, he's got a guy right in front of his face. Bryant James is standing right in front of Kalia, and if that pass is off by a couple of inches, it's probably going back the other way for an interception. So it's a beautiful throw by Pickler.
Suddenly they've tripled their offensive yardage from the opening quarter alone. Going to move Adam Williams across in motion here. Another drop back by Pickler. Throws deep. It is caught. Another first down. It's starting to click together here. Garrison Blue has them in goal to go territory.
Yeah, it's a big play by the tight end there. They moved him across the line there. I think they saw an overload on that left side that they liked there. And it works out for him because Samuels is kind of shading outside on the coverage. And, you know, he just bends his run to the inside ever so slightly. Pickler leads him beautifully on that little route adjustment. And it means Blue's kind of almost wide open there. And now you're within the, you know, almost to the 5-yard line.
Starting to figure it out here at Bossier City. Toss play on the outside. Rob Noel trying to get the shoulder driven down. Bryant James holds him up.
Yeah, Noel's getting warmed up there, Jacob. You can feel it. I mean, he breaks the first contact now. I think the last 4 or 5 runs in a row he's broken that first contact. He's always pushing forward, you know. And, I mean, this is exactly what Bossier City needed to unlock this offense. If you can get that running game moving, it really feels like everything starts to open up for the Steamers.
It's going to be a design run for Pickler. He can't get free. The first defender still going. Johnny Pickler eventually is thrown down. It was like that play was alive for 5 years, and eventually he's dropped down.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Albuquerque lost where the ball was there, because it felt like William Patterson was the only guy in the area for a long time there. And, you know, maybe Pickler and the guard had their shoelaces tied together or something there, because at some point you just got to try and get off your guy and curve that inside for a touchdown.
They punch it in. Pickler's going to throw to the backfield, and it'll be marched into the end zone. It's Vin Kalia again on that design screen. It works for a second time, and Bossier City have a score on the board.
Yeah, and again, Keenan Samuels draws that short straw there. You know, you see Kalia in the backfield, and you're going to have to, you know that you're going to have to cover him, but he gets to the flat so quickly there. Actually, it's number 57. I think that's Chamberlain again, or I'm not sure who that is, but I mean, you know, you got to try and cover someone who's so much faster than pretty much any linebacker in the game. It's Mike Caldwell, one of their bench linebackers. It's a tough assignment to make there, and all you got to do if you're Kalia is just get to that pylon. He does it with ease.
Just like that, Bossier City have put themselves back into the game. They were steamrolled in that opening quarter and pieced together a drive that starts to make sense of their offense here today. And it pens it back in as the contest we expected here this afternoon.
I think the question now, though, is how does Albuquerque respond? Because we saw them get a little bit more run-focused in their last drive, and it worked out pretty well for them. But again, they weren't able to punch it in the red zone. And you know, if you get stopped in the red zone too many times, it could be a threat because, you know, Bossier City all of a sudden, you know, it's a 1-score, 6-point game. Whereas if they'd converted one of those field goals into a touchdown, would still be, you know, a 10-point game.
Nice to the top. Oh, boy! Stuart Amelia.
Talk about absolutely reading the play there, Jacob. Stuart Zamilia came on the outside there, and there was no block. You know, Albuquerque was trying to fake him, go to that weak side, but it means that if the defense reads your intention, it's going to get blown up in the backfield like it just did there. I'm surprised he didn't fumble during the exchange.
Other outside handoff, beat Trammell. It'll be a gain of 6, so they'll get the yardage back, but huge opportunity here for Bossier City to get off the field.
Yeah, it might be one of the first times tonight that we're going to see kind of a pass-focused defensive concept here from Bossier City, too. Like, I don't know if we've seen them in dime coverage so far tonight here, but you're going to have to see it here from them.
Left the entire middle of the field open for the time being. Be a rollout by Jive. He's got time, throws downfield. It's picked! Trying to get it over the top to K. Marion, but other ideas. There was Pink Lisa, who's got the interception, and Bossier City have the football back.
Yeah, I just think Jive couldn't get enough air under it. I mean, there's so many Steamers defenders in the area there, and you've got to try and loft it over everyone, but it's tough to do because if you get it too far, then Marion's got no chance of catching it. And for the first time tonight, you know, we've been talking about field position all night. Albuquerque's always had the advantage in that stat. And now Bossier City gets a chance to start from the midfield logo. We're going to have to see, because if they can score a touchdown, they've got the lead here, Jacob.
An unbelievable turnaround in the circumstances. Best starting field position here for the Steamers offense. Run by Noel. He will get up the middle. Good march. It's about 7.
You love to see the offensive line execute a play that well, Jacob. It's got to be one of the most beautiful things to see in a football game is when an offensive line can just absolutely beat their man one-on-one with the assignment and open up a gaping hole for their running back to go through. Noel could have chosen, I think, about 4 different lanes to go through. Would have still gotten 5 yards.
Pickler, first down. That time he got 3.
Well, that time he had his shoelaces untied, you know. He's able to make sure that he's not caught on any of his guys there. And again, you know, the center is just pushing up so far and getting to that second level so easily that it's absolutely wreaking havoc on these linebackers right now. They don't know what to do because they're just getting a Bossier City, you know, offensive line stiff arm to the face.
It's been a huge game so far from Duke and Rukin in the middle of that line. Drop back by Pickler again. He's got time. Throws downfield. Callier, first down. Huge play there across the middle. Johnny Pickler's starting to find his groove again.
I love this play calling, Jacob. It's so good. You know, every time that you think you've got it figured out here, and Albuquerque thinks they've got it figured out, you know, you hit them with a changeup. That time they brought some pressure in the middle. They're trying to jam the lanes for Noel, and instead they go with that, you know, big, deep pass over the middle, and Callier cuts so early. He's wide open over the middle. It's a huge catch. They're already in the red zone again.
Triple formation going to go back up the middle. Same run design as before. It's only a yard you gained there on that occasion as Albuquerque responds.
And the question now is, how do you respond if you're Bossier City? Because you're behind the chains now for the first time in this drive here, 2nd and 9. You're going to have to try and figure out something a little bit unorthodox, I think, to get some of those yards.
Bunch to the top. Pickler's going to roll away from it. Throws across his body. It is incomplete. Had a one-on-one there with Vin Callier. Marched up against Amar Bryant Jr., but unable to find his receiver.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think Callier has got to do a little bit better there because he's one-on-one with Bryant Jr., and maybe the corner gives him a little bit of a bump or just kind of changes the way that he's running that route ever so slightly to throw off the timing with Pickler there. A little bit of a savvy move from the 7-season vet in the backfield there.
Another drop back by Pickler. Albuquerque back the pressure away and a defensive lineman in his face, and again Callier's dropped it. That time it was Axis, in fact, who is unable to come up with it. And boy, Johnny Pickler's receivers have let him down.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, we talk a lot about body adjustments in this league, Jacob, and, you know, you got to be able to swivel your torso around at the right time to be able to get that ball. I think Axis was expecting it to have a little bit less on it because he hadn't fully completed his turn yet. You know, he's still trying to get his head around just to see if the ball's actually coming to him, and it hits him on the back shoulder pad there and falls way incomplete. It's very unfortunate for the Diva.
converts the three-pointer. He remains perfect on the season 15 of 15.
You know, it feels almost, Jacob, like these teams kind of, Bossier City didn't actually get into the stadium until the second quarter because Albuquerque started so hot and took that lead, you know, and I was a little worried for a second that we were going to see a pretty one-sided contest. But Bossier City in the second quarter is really, I think, locked in, and, you know, they're saying to themselves, you know, we have to win if we want to have any chance of making the playoffs here. And, you know, you could also potentially sabotage Albuquerque. So, you know, getting a chance to do that to a division rival has also got to be a little bit of a motivator.
Wouldn't be bad at all, but they still find themselves behind this time now, though, only by a minor score. And their defense has started to step up here in this second quarter. Marion across to the top here. Drop back by Jive. Has time. Caught Finnemore. Give him 12.
I mean, it's a good pass there, and I think Gunny McGuire was kind of expecting him to maybe go outside there because he kind of gets left behind there on the route. You saw him with the outside leverage. He has to take a couple extra steps to fall in behind Finnemore, and at that point, you're already beat on the play, you know. So Finnemore really is having an effective game tonight. 5 of 5 for 65 yards.
It's a decent stat line for an opening half performance from their outside receiver. Extra pressure was sent. Josh Slapp's got room on the outside. That will be a good chunk of yardage. They're going to give him 8 on that run.
It's what we've seen from Slap all season. You know, if he gets to that outside, he's got so much speed that he's able to hit those holes before anyone can really do anything about it. And credit to the wide receivers. You know, they block so well on this team. You know, you see Finnemore and Marion putting in a good shift there. You know, tying up their cornerbacks, making sure that there's a gap to actually hit.
2 minutes to go in the opening half. Bossier City have to hold strong here at the back end of the half to keep this scoreline intact.
You know, Jacob, we talk so much about Kay Marion on this team. She's 1 for 3 tonight for 8 yards. It's the lowest on the entire receiving core. Even Clarence Lee has 11 yards. So, I mean, you know, it's really interesting to see them kind of go away from Marion tonight.
Slap on the outside, beats the first defender. And that'll be enough for a first. There's an injury in the play. Rob Forrick has gone down. So another player on the front end for Bossier City will have to go to the medical team.
I mean, this is kind of the worst luck you can imagine right now. And I mean, we talked about it all season. I think everyone's kind of agreed that Bossier City is the unluckiest team. You know, they're walking under ladders. They're breaking mirrors. They've done everything wrong. You know, they're stepping on cracks. And again, that's the second huge defensive anchor of this team gone out with injury. You know, first it was Bogey Barr. Now you lose Rob Foraker. You know, this front seven is getting absolutely chipped away at right now.
It really means that Albuquerque can keep the ball on the ground here. Another run. Give him 7. Josh Slapp starting to be very efficient.
Yeah, you're starting to see a little bit more of a push here from this offensive line. I'm not sure if it has to do with these injuries kind of affecting the team or not, but it feels like the concepts are working out a lot better here, and they're just able to open up these bigger and bigger holes for Slap to just absolutely stroll through.
Another outside run. That's Jason Williams, and he will be short of the first down marker by a yard.
Yeah, you saw Stuart Zamilia come on that weak side blitz there. He was kind of positioned just outside of the left tackle, trying to go to that outside. You know, we saw him blow up a play in the backfield earlier on tonight, but that time just not able to.
An outside Slap got it. Good chunky yardage again, and we'll start seeing some timeouts burnt by the Steamers.
It's a great drive so far, Jacob. You know, they're taking so much time off the clock. They got the ball with about, you know, I think 2 minutes 45 seconds or so left on the clock here, and they're getting into this perfect position where they're able to call their timeouts with about a minute left on the clock and just try and, you know, really drain that clock down to make sure that they're the last ones who get a real shot at a score here in the quarter.
Lindsay Adams can change the formation. Going to go back to a triple look here. Jack Wall down the bottom, and it'll be caught by Marion. Just held onto it. There was the corner who nearly lost it. It was Marion to the house, if not, but it'll be Albuquerque football 20 yards away from the Bossier City goal line.
I'm pretty sure it was Finnemore, actually. Yeah,
it was
Kyle Finnemore, which, I mean, again, you know, you see him on that outside really working these corners over. You know, Marion's been quiet, but the number 2 is stepping up big time.
That one's caught by a wall, giving him 9.5. And another timeout called by the Adams sideline. They got one left.
It's a big mismatch here now because, Bogey Barr's out of the game, which means the backup linebacker, Rocky Boyman, number 51, is the guy who's been in on a lot of these nickel plays in particular. And if you get a tight end like Jack Wall up against a backup linebacker, it's going to be carnage.
Motion Marion to the top. The matchup will be with Michaela Foraker. Struck back by Jive, thrown across, it's Finnemore!
Oh, man. Kyle Finnemore, have yourself a day so far. His half has been excellent. And again, he beats the coverage there on the outside. I think it was Zamilia there, or maybe Pink Lisa. Either way, he just cuts to that outside so beautifully. It's actually Gunny McGuire there. Just the cut, the one step there to go outside, because the corner's always guessing. Are you going to go inside? You're going to go outside? What's the angle on the cut there? And he's so good at being so intentional with the cut. He takes that outside foot, plants it, and, spins out there. And Jive puts it beautifully in his breadbasket. Albuquerque has been great so far tonight on the execution.
And it continues Cyrus Jive's streak of throwing touchdown passes across this offense. A double in the opening half for Kyle Finnemore. And the Steamers, despite their best efforts to get this offense going, find themselves back down by 10 once again.
Well, Bossier City's got 49 seconds left to respond in the half here, though. And if you can get a score, you bring it back to a one-possession game, which could be really big for you going into halftime. And, Jacob, it really can't be said that Johnny Pickler's been bad today. 6 for 8, 63 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Jive threw a pick, so, Johnny Pickler, I think, has been good tonight so far. The team as a whole, I think, just hasn't really been able to answer with the same efficiency.
Going to run on first down. It'll be Noel for a yard. And no real hurry up there to stop the clock. So Bossier City content with the lead as it is, or the deficit rather, in their perspective.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Jacob. I don't agree with that. I think you got to try and get downfield and score points. You got 3 timeouts. You got to try and reel this game back to a one-possession game.
Got back. Oh, incomplete. Oh. They went for it. Banfield couldn't hold onto it there. It's just worth noting that Albuquerque will get the opening second half kickoff, if my memory serves me correctly. It was just a prime opportunity for Bossier City to try and speed things up.
If they get the first down here, Jacob, you might still see them speed things up because you still got about 20 seconds. 1 or 2 big strikes will put you at about midfield.
Pushes out the middle. Pickler rolls away from it, throws downfield, and he's incomplete again. Boy, Pickler's receivers just have not been able to get the game going for him here, as that one was dropped by Garrison Blue, and they'll be forced to punt this one away.
It's been hard hitting on that back end. That's really been the difference so far tonight, Jacob. Brian James has been there a couple times. We saw Daniel Valentine with a big hit on Banfield. These corners and safeties are able to really lay the wood on these receivers. And if you can break up these passes, it's such a big momentum killer for that team.
Will be returned by Finnemore. Again, he broke a tackle there, so 9 seconds left on the clock. Suspect that Albuquerque will do anything too theatrical here, and that'll be a halftime scoreline.
Yeah, I don't expect them to really try and push down the field. But again, Finnemore, he's really playing with some freedom tonight, Jacob. I think he's been all over the field. He's already almost at 100 yards receiving in the first half here. So, I think he really decided that tonight he was going to show up and show out for Albuquerque.
Nice. Receivers to the bottom. Make sure you don't let Slap get free here. If they do go with him, it'll be a run up the middle. That one's upended by Freddie Trammell, and that's how we'll enter the halftime interval. Albuquerque on the road with a 2-score lead here. It's halftime at Red River Stadium. Albuquerque leads this one 20 points to 10. Brandon Walters, your halftime keys to this game.
Oh, it's been such a good game, Jacob. We've seen all these kind of shifts in the momentum and in the way that these teams are trying to approach each other. You know, at the beginning, it was Albuquerque in that first quarter, absolutely dominant. You know, they were picking apart that Bear defense in particular from Bossier City. And then you get to that second quarter, you see a couple of those adjustments come in from the Bossier City side of things, and all of a sudden they've got the momentum. You know, they're answering back and bringing the game back to within a 3-point deficit. And then, you know, towards the end of the second quarter, all of a sudden, you know, it's Albuquerque with the counterpunch, getting that touchdown to Fenimore there with a quick drive. You know, Jive was really going down the field and hitting his targets there. And I think, you know, it's really a tale of, you know, teams just making adjustments to each other and seeing what the other team is doing, hitting them with the counter. It's been great so far. And, you know, the greatest adjustments always come at halftime because you've got that extra time. So I'm really excited to see what these two teams are going to be doing coming out of the locker rooms.
Still very much in reach of the Steamers here this afternoon. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Jacob Clear. That's Brandon Walters with the excellent halftime analysis as always. Ellie Diomez and JW Hartshorn running stats, and Commissioner Cameron Irvine producing for the greatest football network on YouTube as always. Returned up the middle by Fenimore. This time he can't get free. Good contact by the Steamers special teams unit. So really this feels like the swing possession, Brandon, because if Albuquerque get a major score, all of a sudden you're down by 3. If Bossier City can get off the field quickly, you feel like they might have the momentum. So really important couple of minutes upcoming here.
Yeah, and I think the big question that both of these teams are going to try and figure out here is who is going to be the guy who's going to, you know, take over for this team, because Fenimore has been the guy for Albuquerque so far. Is Gunny McGuire going to try and, you know, adjust his coverages, or is the running game for Albuquerque going to try and take over? There's so many variables to consider.
A toss play to Slap. He's pursued from behind and got the first down.
I'll tell you what, that's a hard-in-the-throat moment for Bossier City there, because Slap on the outside with no one in front of him is a very, very scary prospect. And Rocky Boyman there, you know, big props to the bench linebacker coming in relief of Bogey Barr for being able to stay, you know, keep up with him and actually, you know, bring him down by the feet there with that little diving tackle, because if he doesn't make that, you know, Slap's probably got at least 30 yards.
That's it. Jason Williams, that time he is shut down for no gain there. So again, no Bogey Barr for the moment. We'll see if we can spot Rob Foraker. He also left the game during that second quarter. Freddie Trammell's done well in the absence of his co-pilot there in the middle of the Bossier City linebacking court. Makes that play, 2nd down and 10. They're going to go back to the ace. 2 receivers stacked at the top. It's Jive gone. Loss of 6. He is lit up in the backfield.
Biff Markham. I mean, talk about a scary sight there. He's a big guy going that fast up the inside. 6'4", 329-pound defensive tackle flying at you like he's in the Olympics, Jacob. I mean, for Jive, you know, honestly, it's a credit to him that he doesn't fumble the ball there, because it's a crushing hit.
It's Biff Markham's 2nd sack of the season. Jive will roll out. He has time, throws into a sea of blue jerseys. And Pink Lisa was the one that got the mid on the football. And just like that, Bossier City are going to get off the field.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jacob, you know, Jive's lucky not to throw a 2nd interception of the game there, because, again, that's the exact same play that they ran, I think, where they threw the interception last time. You know, every time they get in that dime set, you know, Bossier City's defense is absolutely clamped up on these receivers here. And if you're Bossier City, you've got to think, hey, if we can keep them at a long distance on these 2nd and 3rd downs, we're going to have a good chance.
Good return here from Dave Axis to get this up past the 25-yard line. And the Steamers will have decent field position here to try and get their way back in this game. Again, we saw some flashes from their offense at the start of that second quarter.
Well, the question is, you know, I mean, again, who's going to step up and be the guy? I think, you know, that Vin Calia, you know, screen pass idea was good, and it can get you some reliable yards, I think. But at the same time, you really got to look at this running game. Rob Noel has had 10 carries for only 31 yards. Nemchak has 3 carries for only 7 yards. You got to try and see a balanced offense here from Bossier City, because that's really where they thrive.
Rush has started to improve at the back end of that second quarter. Deep throw, that is incomplete, but the receiver had no chance at it. And that'll be a defensive pass interference penalty that'll push them downfield.
Yeah, I actually want to see the replay here because I think Valentine may have just mistimed it by like a couple of milliseconds here on Banfield. I mean, I mean it's a tight call there, but I mean the timing is so close that it's hard to say, definitively. I think whether or not that was potentially pass interference or not. But I mean physical play there from the corners. That's what we've seen all night, and sometimes that's going to get you punished.
Spots them at the 42 now. And off at the middle to Rob Noel. Shut down. In fact, it was Nemchek with that carry. And Will Patterson is all over that one.
Yeah, Nemchek's getting swallowed up tonight. And honestly, you can't blame him too much because he works best on the outsides, If you try and funnel him up through these A and B gaps, it's going to be a struggle for him because anytime he meets a linebacker, he's pretty much outclassed in terms of strength.
And off at the middle now, it's Noel in the backfield. He's got room. And Rob Noel can't quite get the leg drive there to get the first down. He's shy by a yard.
I mean, it's such a good carry, though, Jacob. When you run it on a second down and like 10 or 9 like that, it's a risky play call because if it doesn't work out for you, then you're in a 3rd and long situation, and that really closes up your playbook. So to get that kind of rushing yards on the second down is really, really key for them.
It'll be a 3rd and very short one.
Quarterback sneak probably again here from Pickler.
That's what we've seen most often from this formation, and he does so again. He's going to keep it going downfield. That's the aggressiveness we thought we were going to get from Pickler. If you cast your mind back to one of the more unorthodox runs he had earlier in the game, he slid short of the first down. Now he's really going for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's an aggressive runner, and he's shown as much this season. I think he's got 5 rushing touchdowns from the quarterback position so far for Bossier City, which is, I mean, a crazy statistic. But again, I think, if you're Bossier City, you might feel a little unlucky. The only chance you got at it near the end zone, he didn't make it.
One incomplete. Bunch of green helmets around the area. There to back that one away. It'll be a 2nd down and long. Triple formation here. The Pickler has time to throw. Heaps of time. Throws it downfield. It's caught by Callier inside the 15.
It's a great throw and catch there for Callier. I mean, talk about down the field aim. Pickler really slinging the ball here in the second half.
He's going to set Bossier City up inside the SFL red zone. Let's check in on the other side of this game block very quickly with Commissioner Cameron Irvine.
Thank you, Jacob. Well, just when you least expect it, Oklahoma City is hanging in there with Chicago. More than just hanging in there. How about a 70-yard touchdown to Jonathan Kilgore? It's 14-14 halfway through the second. Back to you, Jacob, as Bossier City scores.
Oh!
Touchdown, Titans!
Dave Axis with a major score, and the Steamers are back within a single score.
Everyone's getting on the scoring action tonight. You get a score in Oklahoma City for the Renegades, and then the Diva, Dave Axis, gets a wide-open touchdown there. I'm surprised. That play almost looked busted there. I mean, it's a great concept. I think Brian is on that thirds deep concept, but there's really no center safety there to kind of cover up the whole thing. So as soon as he cuts inside, he's got the step there. And credit to Pickler for seeing it and, slinging it deep there. Big touchdown for Dave Axis, and I'm sure he'll be feeling good about that one.
Penultimate game of his career, and he has netted a major score. He also has 400 catches now on his esteemed SFL career, and it will be Albuquerque football. They were stuffed early there, and then Bossier City made quick work of that drive, and all of a sudden penned to be a high-scoring game here at Red River Stadium. Return by Finnemore. It's another good one. He's got this up past the 35.
Yeah, that field position battle, Albuquerque's had an advantage all night tonight. And it really, it's kind of helped them, I think, with some of these drives they've had. But again, Jacob, the balance of power is shifting. It feels like Bossier City is really kind of coming back into this one. And again, if they can get another stop here, potentially sack Jive again or get some kind of pressure in the pocket here, if Bossier City gets the ball back, you could see him take the lead here. It just feels like that's kind of where the momentum is right now in this one.
Into a spread formation. They run mostly out of this today. It will be a throw from Jive. Spins in the pocket, throws short. That is incomplete, and they're going to have another flag.
Oh, okay, I thought it was pass interference. I was going to disagree.
I did as well. Looks like one of the Bossier City linemen was a little bit too rough there. It looks like the defensive end that's covering for Rob Foraker was the culprit.
Yeah, juke with Thomas, number 94 there. And I mean, if you're coming off the bench, getting yourself a penalty is probably the easiest way to get yourself a pink slip on the way out of the stadium tonight.
Now they'll run it, and then heaps of room. Josh Slapp up past halfway, and he's now at the 35 on the other side of the field.
That's beautiful from Josh Slapp. That's exactly what he can do. You know, it feels like so much of his runs are just these consistent 5 or 6 yarders. But when he gets the room there, he can really break it off. I mean, look at the shiftiness there. Absolutely sells Zach Holdorf with that little outside move there, freezes him in place, and then takes the cut inside there for even more yards. It's a beautiful run. Slapp's, you know, I mean, one of the best running backs in the league, really just showing how it's done.
It's him up at 5.5 yards per carry now in the game. Jason Williams, has been no room for him on those secondary handoffs, and he'll be blown up in the backfield by Freddie Trammell.
You almost have to feel a little bad for him because it feels like every time he's in the backfield is when Bossier City decides, you know, let's dial up that blitz, you know, let's bring some pressure. And that time, you know, you saw 3 Bossier City defenders going to that strong side there where Williams was trying to get to. Absolutely no chance for him.
Drop back again by Jive. He's got time. Throws deep. End zone. Caught Marion. Unbelievable.
Just when you think you finally got her silenced in the game, she pops up with an absolutely key play, Jacob. I mean, it's a great throw by Jive, first off, to see down the field there when you've got the pressure coming off the backside. But Kay Marion just holds on through a huge hit. She's got to get up in the air to get it and, you know, bring it in. And to stay in, you know, keep your feet in, keep possession of the ball there. It's a beautiful catch from Kay Marion. Only her second one of the game, but it's a big one. It's a touchdown for Albuquerque.
Sammy Steele will net an extra point, and Albuquerque in theatrical fashion have negated that passing touchdown to Dave Axis down the other end of the field. And an incredible throw and catch to Kay Marion.
I mean, it's got to be so deflating, Jacob. A 3-play, 63-yard scoring touchdown drive for Albuquerque is just brutal for Bossier City because it felt like they were getting so much more of the momentum, especially defensively after that last 3-and-out stop, you know. And all of a sudden, Jive just comes back, and, you know, it's like Ivan Drago just absolutely hits you with a disgustingly hard punch right in the mouth there. And now, if you're Pickler, you've got to find some way to respond again and respond pretty quickly here because you've only, you know, you're starting to see kind of the grains of sand in the hourglass trickling out bit by bit here.
We've got 5 left in the third term. Still plenty of room left in this game. Callier is in the slot here. It'll be a handoff to Rob Noel, who's got plenty of work to do, and Bryant James is straight there to drop him in the backfield.
He's been great tonight, you know. I think, you know, for most strong safeties, the job is to be the hitter and be the cleanup man, and he's really done it well so far tonight. He's been in the box sometimes to stop these runs here, but he's also delivered some big hits over the middle there to break up some of these passes.
Drop back by Pickler again. He's got time. Can survey in the pocket. Throws it deep. It's caught. There was no one on the intended receiver in Jeff Banfield, and that was very easy once Pickler got the ball out.
I have to say, Jacob, this defense looks fragile over the top here because Banfield, I mean, is kind of wide open there. It almost felt like Valentine didn't see the pass. Like, you know, maybe Banfield was kind of in his line of sight there because he reacts pretty late. And Banfield really just gets a chance to kind of break his route in and catch it wide open, you know, 25, 30 yards down the field.
This feels like Johnny Pickler's game at the moment with the way it's tracking. Drop back again. Got good blocking up the tackles. He's going to throw it to Dave Axis. He'll get a good tackle bust there. Bets it up to 9 yards away from the line of scrimmage. A yard shy of the line to gain. Again, Pickler throwing it very well. 10 of 15. 2 major scores to his name so far today.
And no turnovers either, which is absolutely key for him.
Into a heavy set. This time they're going to toss it to the outside. Rob Noel with plenty of room. Patterson chasing him. He ran straight out of bounds.
I mean, he's faster than you think. You know, for a 260-pound running back, you feel like he's not usually the kind of guy who's supposed to get those tosses to the outside there. But, I mean, he absolutely outpaces Saeed Gore there and picks up an easy 6 or 7 and is able to just kind of walk it out of bounds when there's no more room left to gain there on the outside. It's a great run.
Gives them a fresh set of downs here inside the Albuquerque 40-yard line now, so they've made quick work to get into opposition territory again. We're straight handed off at the middle to Noel, give him 3.
I'll tell you what, their rush defense has been better tonight than I think we were kind of expecting, because they're 18th in the league in terms of rushing yards allowed per game at 110, and it doesn't feel like Bossier City's going to really get towards that kind of marker, you know, so good for them.
Pickle's going to throw it over the top. It's caught inside the red zone. Garrison Blue again with a crucial downfield catch.
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, both these teams so far tonight have had tight ends that have absolutely been taking over the game there. Again, Bryant James is kind of on Garrison Blue there as the assignment. And again, you know, it's these little route adjustments sometimes that make all the difference. You know, you saw he had kind of that slight outside bend, and James was kind of trying to track across there to cover it. And then at the last second, Blue steps inside, adjusts to the pass from Pickler, and means that he's just on that one step inside of James.
And straight up the middle, that'll be a 2-yard run for Rob Noel.
Keeping him honest.
Yeah, but it's the passing offense at the moment is getting the job done, but just worth keeping him in the game. You know, he's a very capable rusher. He's had 21 rushing touchdowns in his career. Drop back by Pickler. Throws end zone. It's caught. Callier's got a brace.
Johnny Pickler is looking like a master chef right now. He's absolutely dicing this defense, Jacob, which is, I mean, what we expected. You know, Albuquerque's defense in terms of passing, bottom 5 in the league in terms of passing yards allowed per game. They're 20th in the league, and so far tonight, Pickler's absolutely taking advantage. It's his best game of the season, without a doubt. I have to say it right now. You know, 12 to 17, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't, like, maybe he's taken like a sack, you know, maybe that's kind of the blemish on the game so far tonight, but Pickler has been absolutely beautiful tonight so far for Bossier City, right at the time they need him to be.
Now exchanging blows. It goes back to 10 and then back to 3 and then back to 10 and back to 3 again here with 2 minutes left in the third term. I feel like there is a swing moment coming here. So returnable by Kyle Finnemore up past the 30, and he'll be upended at the 32. So Albuquerque get to take over again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. I think there's got to be some kind of a moment where things are really going to shift here. Right now, it feels like, you know, I kind of already used the Rocky analogy, but it really does feel like a boxing match right now. You know, it's a punch, counter punch, and both of them are kind of still feeling each other out almost, it feels like. Both these teams are scared to kind of make that one big mistake that's really going to change things here. And I feel like, you know, if one of these teams does turn the ball over, that might be the big kind of changing point in this game.
Roll out by Jive. Throws, nearly as we speak of it. An opportunity there for Zach Holdorf, but he was unable to come up with it.
Zach Holdorf looking like Zach Hopsdorf right now. I mean, look at the height that he got on that one. There's a crazy jump there from the strong safety, especially when, you know, when you're moving, it's harder to kind of get that plant power and be able to get that height to get the arm in the way there. It's a beautiful play.
Spread the receivers out again here. It became Marion, who will be, in fact, it's Finnemore, who's motioned down to the bottom. So they've got Marion and Finnemore on the right, Lee up the top. Throws deep. It is incomplete. Looking for Marion, who had her eyes locked on that Bossier City end zone. In the end, it was again Holdorf in company with Pink Lisa, who were able to get the ball away from her.
But you got to feel like you got to catch that ball there. I mean, it's right in Holdorf's hands. He's got the good break on it there. But I mean, it's still a good pass breakup, because if it does get to Marion, I think she's probably gone to the end zone.
Roll out. The protection up front was good. Again, he throws deep, and then this time he finds Jack Wall inside Bossier City territory.
It's the first time that play's worked for him all game, Jacob. They've done that rollout a couple times now and haven't had any success on it. That time, finally, you know, it felt like Bossier City's defense wasn't as deep as they usually are in that dime package. And that time, Wall's open, you know, to kind of get that big catch down the field there. And, you know, again, Jack Wall, it feels like it's kind of, when you need a big clutch catch, that's when you call on Jack Wall.
Second half yardage of offense starting to even out just a little bit. There it is. Incomplete. Oh, Michaela Foraker had her back turned to the play there.
I mean, she ran Jack Wall's route for him, though. I mean, she was right in front of him the entire time on the play there. And I think, again, you know, the defense now is starting to get their hands on some of these passes, but they're not able to reel them in for any interceptions. And Cyrus Jive, you know, has already thrown one tonight, which isn't something he does much over the course of the season here. He's kind of playing with fire a little bit, Jacob.
Into a spread look. It'll be a hand up at the middle for a 3-yard gain there with Josh Slapp.
And again, that's the backup, Juqua Thomas, who came in for Foraker there, you know, kind of making the tackle. So again, you know, both of those guys, Bogey Barr and Rob Foraker, still are not back in this one here. So you're seeing, you know, some of these backups kind of having to really step up and make some big plays on this defense.
Roll out again by Jive on 3rd down. Incomplete. That time they got it away from Marion.
Yeah, I mean, big hit by Gunny McGuire there. He was kind of the deep guy there. He was sitting in a bit deeper in than some of the other corners were kind of. And, I mean, he delays a big hit there on K. Marion. And K. Marion hung on to the big hit in the end zone for the touchdown earlier on in the game. But that time, really no chance.
Is that the moment? So it means that the punt unit in Ken Miller will have to send this one away. And it'll be, Jesus, a good punt. It's going to be spotted inside the 5.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we talk about the field position, and again, it feels like Bossier City's kind of on the losing end of field position battles in this one here. But I mean, with the way Pickler's been throwing it here, you know, field position could change in an instant because he's been so good down the field here. And if Bossier City can sustain a 90-yard drive and get another touchdown, that might be a big momentum swing.
Bunch to the bottom, and we hand off to Rob Noel, who's going to roll the shoulder and get 8 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the highlight of that play, Jeff Banfield, talk about a block. He comes from the outside of that, you know, that bunch formation there, probably comes about 10 yards across the field there in 2 seconds or so to actually lay that second level block on for Noel to get those extra couple of yards. That's hustle right there.
Going to toss it now to Nemchek, who's lit up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, TJ Frosty says, no, you're not getting any more yards than that, Nemchek. And I mean, it's been tough running for Nemchek so far tonight, to be honest. We've seen him at some points be kind of the more efficient running back behind Noel is that number 2. But really, it feels like Albuquerque's kind of focused on the outside so far tonight and shut him down.
We'll go to Noel, who goes up the middle, and Albuquerque have stopped him. Or have they? They're going to give the Steamers the first down. And the corner went so they can't challenge it. Unbelievable. What a moment. Chris Porter on the sideline will be absolutely fuming, you would imagine.
I mean, you have
to. It didn't look like Noel had got that first down, but he didn't have the opportunity to throw the challenge flag.
I think he was definitely short there, and I think Albuquerque, you know, depending on how the rest of this drive goes, Albuquerque may have some grievances.
And we hand off up the middle to Noel, who gets nothing. They've sent the defensive unit out with vengeance early in this fourth quarter. Fourth quarter starts here on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Jacob Clear. That is Brandon Walters in co-commentary. Ellie Diomez and Jeremy Hartshaw running stats. Pleasure to have your company here on the VFN. On YouTube, you're watching the Simulation Football League. Second and 8. Pickler taking his time. Now he's going to run it up the middle with Rob Noel, trying to get that second down run. This time, Albuquerque all over it.
I mean, it's all down to TJ Frosty, though, because Noel was going to push forward and get another 3 or so on that carry, which sets up a short third down. And instead, you know, the free safety comes in and pushes Noel back. And now it's a 3rd and 6. You're going to have to see Pickler throw the ball here if he wants that first down.
Banfield is the motion man. Drop back. Pickler has heaps of time. And he's going to go downfield. It is incomplete. Aggressive from Johnny 2K there on the 3rd down and medium. And it's broken up, and Albuquerque will get off the field.
I don't think you can really blame Pickler, though, because Callie's been so good on those cross-cutting deep passes all game. You know, the connection there has been exquisite. And that time, you know, it's up to Jack Napier once again for this Albuquerque team to lay a big hit deep down the field and break up the pass.
Yeah, I don't think you can have an issue there with the play call whatsoever. It means the Adams are going to get decent field position here because Finnemore's got this up past the 35. Again, Bossier City need to replicate that good work they did on the last drive to keep them out of field goal range.
I mean, if you do give up a field goal, it's not the end of the world because it's only a 6-point lead. But I do think I agree with you in the idea that I think if Albuquerque manages to score again here, that's going to put a lot more pressure, I think, mentally on Bossier City in terms of, you know, we have to be able to answer them. Oh, I think Rob Foraker's back in the game. I see him on the line there.
That's important. I mean, more so in the sense of replicating the effort they were able to produce to get them out of field goal range. The field goal is not necessarily the end of the world here in the context of the game. A major score might be. You know, they want to keep this one within a single score. Drop back by Jive. It is short. And something happened in the middle there. That didn't look great at all.
I think it's on Boyman again, the backup who's in for Bogey Barr there. Yeah, I think they're trying to target, you know, some of these weaknesses, Jacob, that they've seen with some of the bench guys coming in here. And I think on that one there, the call is whether or not, you know, he's 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, because that's where you can't touch the receivers anymore there. And I think Wall might have just kind of baited him a little bit, like a bullfighter waving a red flag. You know, come on, you want to lay your hands on me. Just drew him past that 5-yard buffer.
It's a bit of a lack of experience there from the substitute. He twins to the top of the formation to be a hand off the slap, and that time Bossier City got the run stopper there. For a gain of 2 by Pink Lisa.
I mean, they sold out for the run there, Jacob. I think they brought about 7 or 8, you know, in the pressure there, and they really sealed off that strong side. So, you know, they were really committed, putting down their chips on the run there, and it worked out for them. So, kudos.
7 tackles on the afternoon for Pink Lisa. It's been probably the best game of her season. Retrospectively, dropped back by, oh my goodness, well, that was nearly, it was nearly intercepted because it was a perfect read by Pink Lisa, but the deflection just took it away from her own eyesight, and it falls away incomplete.
Yeah, Jive's got to be careful because Lisa's already had 1 interception so far tonight. You know, you said it's probably her best game of the season. I'd have to agree because she's been the big impact player, it feels like, for the defense so far tonight. They're down. We might see that rollout play again here out of the bunch.
That's what we're looking for. It's what we're going to get. Good block up front. Throws downfield. It's caught Marion. And it really a game-saving tackle in the end. It's Clarence Lee with the reception. Pink Lisa might have saved the game with that tackle, but a huge 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, Clarence Lee showing up big there. I mean, he goes up and gets that ball right in front of Pink Lisa's hands there. She might have been thinking interception, and instead it's snatched away at the last second by the Adams receiver there. Only his 2nd target of the game and his 2nd catch, but I mean, you know, when you got to get him, he gets him.
Huge 50-50 play that ends up in the Adams' favour. Again, Jive will roll out. He was hit as he threw. Got it to Finnemore. Inside the 10. Couldn't break the 2nd tackle. They've got goal to go.
I mean, Zach Holdorf was coming off of that weak side there, and I think Jive got lucky that he rolled out to the other side there because otherwise he would have gotten buried. You know, Holdorf steaming towards him, though, and just gets it out at the last second there. Finnemore with a beautiful double cut. I mean, no one saw that coming except for Jive. A great throw there, and Finnemore still on fire tonight. Over 100 yards receiving for him.
Stuart Zomelio has kept this game within reach of the Steamers, but the Adams, you feel, have them on the ropes here. Justin Williams in the backfield. 3 receivers for Jive to throw to. He will drop back. Has time. Throws end zone. It is incomplete. Looking again for the hot hand in Kyle Finnemore.
It was a beautiful play design, though, because both the linebackers who were kind of supposed to cover the middle of the field there shifted outside to try and cover some of those wide receivers in their zones there. And that means that when Finnemore cuts in, there's no one home, but Jive just missed him, I think, by like a step.
Clarence Lee, a slight motion now. He'll be in the slot. Short drop back by Jive. Throws. It is incomplete. Excellent coverage on the outside by Michaela Foraker.
put the clamps on Michaela. This is a great play there from her. Absolutely, she read that Finnemore was going on that little out route there. They've done it a couple times this game, Albuquerque, and absolutely saw it this time. And 3rd and goal again, I think you're going to have to look for the rollout here.
A bunch to the right, drive will probably roll to the left. Goes the other way. Look out, front, it collapsed! Stacked in the backfield, huge turnaround.
And it's Jukwa Thomas again, in for Rob Foraker, who I think is still nursing a bit of an injury there. And he gets pushed out, but it pushes him straight into Jive's rollout path there by Adams. And, it's a massive play there because, with the way Jive's been thrown tonight, that could very well have been a touchdown. So instead, saving it and making it only a field goal here, it's a huge play for this defense.
So many moments on that drive from Bossier City's defense that have kept this within a single score. Finnemore nearly broke that catch off a few plays ago for a major score. I think Lisa saved the game a few plays before that off the back of a Clarence Lee reception. For Bossier City with 6.5 minutes left on the clock, it's still a single score game.
It feels like they're just hanging in there. They're on the ropes, but they're managing to keep blocking some of these punches that are coming in here. And they're going to escape with a much lighter wound than they might have otherwise received here.
Axis returning duties again, gets it up just shy. It is now Axis to the 25. And it's the second opportunity for Bossier City to take the lead.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think this isn't necessarily the drive of the game here, Jacob, because, there's still time in the game here to potentially get the ball back again. But momentum-wise, it feels like this is the drive where Pickler and the offense really needs to kind of get things at least somewhat together and try and have an answer for Albuquerque's drives, because right now it feels like Albuquerque is the one with all the momentum.
It certainly feels like their best opportunity to do it, that's for sure. Got 75 yards to go. Pickler's going to throw straight away. Got Callier up past the 40.
Brian James has been having a great game tonight, but, he can't keep up with Vin Callier. There are a few people who can in the SFL, but, again, you've seen it so many times tonight. Callier on these cross-field cutting routes, these little posts on the inside, and he's just absolutely tearing up the middle of the field right now. He's over 100 yards.
Seems to be Pickler's favoured target once again this evening. Going to push a receiver across, yeah. And they're going to run it. It is a gain of 3 there for Robert Nemchek.
That's a decent run by Nemchek. It's interesting to see how much, Albuquerque was trying to overload that left side of the field there. I don't know if they've identified something with how Pickler's been throwing the ball tonight, but it does feel like a lot of his bigger passes have actually kind of come to the left side of their formation so far tonight.
Second down toss play. I've seen this quite a bit today. Noel broke a couple of tackles. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Decision-making time here.
It's a tough decision to make, Jacob. I don't know if you go for it in terms of going through the air or going for it on the ground, because we've seen some of those quarterback sneaks really pick up some good yardage for you.
It's going to be a drop back by Pickler. Short throw. It's caught. He'll get the first down. That'll do.
It's a great throw there from Pickler to Callier. They go with that underneath concept, just have the receivers kind of going crossways on the field there. And, you dump off to Callier, who's been the guy so far tonight for this passing attack, and he manages to kind of shake a tackle and shimmy and get past that first down marker there. It's a great play call.
Pushing now, they're inside Albuquerque territory once again. Hand off on the outside to Rob Noel. Got a lead block. Lowered the shoulder. It'll be a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. Anthony Anderson, we saw earlier in the game, kind of tripped up Nemchek, and that time he's able to get out there with a bit more intentionality and really pick someone that he's going to block there, kind of seal that edge gap. And, it's a good run. 6 yards there is big for Bossier City.
Into a Jacks formation, a good chunk yardage commit. They'll run it again, and it'll be a gain of 3 for Nemchek with 3rd down and short.
It's a tough run for Nemchek. He shakes off Keenan Samuels there, who's a big linebacker by most stretches of the imagination. So a big run there. I think you're going to have to see a quarterback sneak here from Pickler on the 3rd down, because it's just been too consistent for him.
They are in the Jokers, so you would expect that that's the play call lined up here. We run, Pickler, 1st down. He's been very clean with that today.
And he gets up afterwards too, which is, I think, just as key as getting the first down and not fumbling there, Jake. You know, you got to have the guy who's been, you know, red hot for you so far in this game tonight. He's still got to be the guy under center throwing these passes. You got Axis in at tight end.
The 2-yard line is where it's spotted, and it'll be a 6-yard run for Noel. Yeah, they've had Garrison Blue on the outside a few times today and have opted for the more speedy Dave Axis on the inside of the play. Back into the Jokers again.
Albuquerque's doing something similar with Clarence Lee. It's interesting how they're using those tight end spots.
This time Pickler's going to throw out of the Jokers. He's going to go downfield. Oh my goodness, it was nearly in the midst of Dave Axis off a couple of rebounds, and it'll fall away incomplete.
It looked like a volleyball play, Jacob. It goes off of Adam Williams there, who gets absolutely hammered, and instead goes straight into Dave Axis's face mask and then kind of pings forward there. They had Callie in the backfield there. I think they were trying to go for that, you know, that little dump off play to Callie again, and instead Pickler wanted it all down the field and didn't get it.
Into a spread look. Pickler, he's going to throw. He's got time to make his decision. He's going to roll out. Got to get the first down. He does. Takes the contact. He's inside the red zone.
That's a brave play there from Pickler. I mean, I would slide there because you've already got the first down, but, you know, maybe it's a kind of a statement play to the team there, you know, like we're going to get through here and I'm fighting for this team right now. And so far, I mean, he's been beautiful so far tonight. So, you know, if he can, you know, orchestrate this drive to get another touchdown, it could be really big because, you know, the clock is starting to run. They've chewed a lot of clock on this drive.
2.5 left. He's going to throw again. Short throw. He's caught Banfield. Got 4. Decides to take a shot there.
I like that play call, though, because, or the throw from Pickler, rather, because, you know, the pressure was coming from Albuquerque. I think Pickler felt it a little bit earlier than he usually, I feel like, tends to, and kind of just gets it out quick there. Make sure that they're going to get some positive yardage on the play.
Toss play the outside. It's Noel. Broke a tackle. Stiff arm a second. He runs out of bounds. It's only minimal yardage. Despite the good effort, Albuquerque pushing back.
Yeah, I mean, the second effort there, I think, was critical because, you know, that first stiff arm, if Noel gets that, he's going to be right on the sideline with a chance to kind of bend inside and take that for at least a first down there. But instead, you know, more contact, just kind of pushing him out of bounds early there. Now 3rd and 5.
Huge 3rd down. Beckler drops back. Has good protection up front. Caught. Did he get the first? He did. Huge play. Jeff Banfield again.
It's a beautiful call. You know, I think Bossier City knows Albuquerque likes to run that man play defense. And so they really, you know, run those quick routes and just hit them fast.
There is a question mark over the spot of that ball. Here we go. I was going to say, well, it wasn't conclusive on first look as to whether or not he got the first down.
I'll tell you what, Jacob, they just hit the 2-minute mark, which is where the booth starts to review those plays. So if that play comes, you know, 10 seconds earlier, we might not get a review here.
Well, we saw them. It was Albuquerque as well, who were unable to challenge that 3rd down run because of the quarter interval. Impossible to tell from there as to whether or not he got the first down.
He might be half a yard short here.
There we go. So they're going to spot him. So you've got to go for it. It's not really an option.
Yeah.
You need the 6-pointer.
Quarterback sneak it. Oh, they've got Fennec on the field. No. Don't do it.
Can't look.
Yeah. We've seen some fakes, Jacob. It could be a fake, but I don't know.
Matt Fennec will kick the field goal, and they're going to try and get the football back through their defense. Suppose it's doable. It's certainly doable, but in that situation, given you're a half-yard away and you've been so efficient on 3rd down, they're going to try the onside kick as well because they're inside 3 minutes to go. And it didn't have the yardage. I'll go for it again.
You're going to have to see this defense really step up now, Jacob. And, I mean, they've been good the last couple of drives, but you're really asking a lot of them here when you could have tried to just quarterback sneak it there, which has been so effective for them all game. But, I mean, the coaches trust in the defense. So, I mean, if they trust in the defense, they must know something that I guess we probably don't up here in the booth.
Got to get it here. It's this time it's got the distance.
Oh, he got it!
And Bossier City got it!
No, he didn't.
No, he lost it. They had the best shot at it, and somehow they haven't come away with it.
Oh, I thought for sure they had it. There was a couple Bossier City Steamers right there, and it was so close.
Gee.
Alvin Porter is the guy that, I mean, Rob Foraker's right there, though. That's an impressive grab there from the backup, the special teamer.
So, I mean, really, they need a 3 and out if they're a chance. They've got all their timeouts in their pocket, of course.
They're loading the box here. They know what's coming. It's Josh Slap.
Just got to hold for 3 plays here. And off to the outside. Slap is jammed up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they buried him. And again, Jukwa Thomas, the backup defensive end, is the one who comes all the way around all the way across the play, essentially, to actually make the tackle there in the backfield. He's been really good so far in relief tonight. You know, he had the one pass, roughing the passer call, but other than that, he's been a good substitute.
Jokers again. Motion Williams to the outside. Hand off to Slap. Can't get through. Pink Lisa, who was on the run stop there. Be a 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, the thing for Albuquerque is because they're getting to call these timeouts, it means that Slap doesn't have to get substituted for fatigue reasons. So he's able to take all 3 of these carries. And, I mean, he's been way more effective so far tonight than Justin Williams. So it's definitely a good chance for them.
Got to get him one more time. Hand off the outside. Slap. Did he get it? Oh, the shoulder. He's got it. Brutal for Bossier City.
I think that's the game there. And again, you know, it comes down to one of these backups. You know, that time it was Boyman, the backup linebacker, who had a shot at Slap there and just wasn't able to bring him down in time. You know, good job by Slap to shake off the tackle. But again, Bossier City loses in crushing, heartbreaking fashion. And this time, their playoff hopes go with them.
The Steamers have exhausted all their timeouts. And as you mentioned, that's the end of the season for Bossier City. They won 2 in a row to get to this spot where they could potentially be in with a shout, but it will cease here. And Albuquerque snaps a 3-game losing streak in reverse. Principally, it's not the end of either team's season. They both have week 16 matchups to move forward to. Albuquerque will play Mexico City within their own division to try and keep their playoff hopes alive. If they get to 6 and 6, you feel they're a good chance given the strength of a schedule they've had this season. Meanwhile, for Bossier City, they have a road trip to Houston.
Well, you mentioned the strength of schedule. You know, Albuquerque's is best in the league so far this season. And this game is kind of the break in between their murderer's row of games they've had. You know, they had to go play Vancouver and then Pittsburgh, and then they have to go play Mexico City next week away from home in Mexico. So, you know, this was kind of the get-right game that they kind of needed to win to stay in that playoff contention here. And they're still just barely clinging on now. You know? It's a big win for them here, and they get to go to Mexico knowing that they're still in the fight.
And it all comes back to that decision that Bossier City made to kick the field goal rather than go for the 4th and inches. And further, they nearly got their onside kick, and then that last run by Josh Slap was the game sealer. And the Adams are going to get away from here with a thrilling 30-27 win. Another heartbreaking loss, as you mentioned, for Bossier City. Luck has not been on their side this season in season 25. But you imagine they'll be back next season in full force as they have been in previous circumstances. Brennan Walters, give me your keys for that game.
I mean, it's hard to say, honestly. I think, you know, not to play too much what if, but, you know, Bogey Barr, I think in particular, going out of this game was really a big key because, you know, that linebacker position was somewhere where Albuquerque was kind of targeting for a majority of the game there. And I think that may have impacted their fortunes a little bit here. You know, and again, it comes down to turnovers. Cyrus Jive only threw the 1 intercept. So, you know, that's kind of what is able to get them over the hump there towards the end of the game. But I mean, you know, credit to both these teams. I think everyone played really well. There wasn't any, you know, bad performances from anyone. You know, Johnny Pickler had a great game, you know, keeping his nose clean, no turnovers. I think if I had to give a player of the game, I got to go with Kyle Finnemore because he's been in the shadow so much this season of K. Marion, and this time he comes up big when his team needs him most.
Seals this one off here. It's A disappointing loss for Bossier City and likely the end of their season 25 campaign. Still got more football to go here. 2 more games this Saturday evening starting at 9 p.m. Eastern with Charleston and Lexington, and then DC at Los Angeles at 9:15. For Jacob Clear and Brandon Walls is in co-commentary with you this evening. JW Hartshorn and Ellie Diomez on stats. We'll see you next time right here on the Virtual Football Network. This one ends here at Red River Stadium, Albuquerque 30, Bossier City 27.